Hello and welcome. Yes, I am mostly recovered from COVID now and able to do something more on the James Bond collection that I did my last video on, which was this collection of 9 short stories. And in here there are a number of short stories that have the same or similar titles to one of the Broccoli produced Bond movies. So you might be wondering, how faithful was the film to the story? Well, let's have a look. Well, 1985's A View to a Kill didn't even take the full title of the story it's based on, which is From A View to a Kill. Some of the story does take place in Paris, but not at the Eiffel Tower. The story, as written by Fleming, is about a group of enemy agents that ambush a motorcycle courier who's carrying secret dossiers between 2 bases down a remote French country lane. The film's story is about a microchip made by Zorin Industries, Zeppelins and a Nazi breeding experiment. There are no similarities between the two. It wouldn't even have hurt for them to call Bond's love interest in the film Mary Ann, as she's called in the short story, but they didn't even go as far as that. So 0 out of 10 for A View to a Kill. For Your Eyes Only is a short story about murder and revenge in Central America. A Cuban gangster is buying up properties in the British colonies. He makes the mistake of murdering friends of M, the Havelocks, who dispatches Bond in order to dispatch them. He meets Judy, daughter of the dead couple, and together the two take down the thugs. There are some similarities here. Though the ATAC machine is a new MacGuffin for the film, the man sent to retrieve it and then murdered is called Timothy Havelock, so he shares a surname with the character killed in the book. He's killed by a Cuban hitman called Gonzales, as he is in the short story, and he has a daughter who swears revenge and shoots a bow and arrow. Her name, though, is changed from Judy to Melinda. The character dynamics across Bond, girl, murderer and victims are broadly faithful to Fleming's work. The second half of the film has some similarities with a different Bond story called Risico, but again that only stretches so far. So I'm going to give this one 5 out of 10 for the first act's general faithfulness to the Fleming short. Quantum of Solace. The short story from Fleming hardly features Bond at all. He is instead told a story about how another civil servant's life was ruined and broke down after his wife cheated on him, and how he treated her in revenge, and that eventually she was able to rebuild her life. There's no spying, no mysterious organizations, no Bolivian political intrigue, and no revenge on Russian hitmen. So 0 out of 10 for A Quantum of Solace. Octopussy, the film, is about a Russian gangster smuggling art from the Kremlin and a plot to menace and de-arm the West with a nuclear warhead smuggled into an American base by a fake circus. The short story is about how a former commando committed murder in order to steal Nazi gold at the end of the war. There is a little bit about his life in the West Indies, and particularly about how he is trying to tame an octopus that lives in the sea near his home. Some of the Fabergé egg stuff in the film is probably inspired by a different short story, Property of a Lady, but Octopussy gets 3 out of 10 for just hints of the original in Maud Adams' backstory. In The Living Daylights, Bond is employed as a sniper, and his job is to kill the KGB sniper who's waiting to ambush a defector in Berlin. The KGB sniper is a woman posing as a cellist in an orchestra practicing nearby. Rather than kill her as ordered, Bond shoots the gun from her hand. He half expects that his deviation from orders will cost him his 00 status. All of this is fairly faithfully reproduced in the film, but it forms only a small part of it. The rest is unrelated to Fleming's story and entirely original, but I'm still going to give it a 7 out of 10 because what's there in The Living Daylights is actually replicated quite faithfully. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can buy my books on Amazon following the link in the description.